On December 20, 2024, Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow to discuss the looming expiration of a natural gas supply contract routed through Ukraine. The existing agreement, which ends on January 1st, allows the delivery of approximately 15 billion cubic meters of Russian pipeline gas annually to various European countries. During the talks, Putin indicated that Russia is willing to continue supplying gas via Ukraine, but emphasized that this would become practically impossible after January 1st due to Ukraine's refusal to agree to a transit deal favorable to Russia. Over the past 2 years, the European Union, EU, has provided substantial support to Ukraine, including financial aid, humanitarian assistance, military support, and infrastructure development. Despite this, Ukraine has steadfastly refused to change its policies to facilitate an increase in gas transit to the EU. This position is rooted in Ukraine's complex strategic priorities. Fico's visit marks the second time an EU leader has traveled to Moscow since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine 3 years ago. His engagement has drawn criticism from other EU members, particularly the Czech Republic, which has been actively reducing its energy dependence on Russia. While several European countries, including Slovakia, have attempted to negotiate a gas transit deal that would be acceptable to Ukraine, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has made it clear that Russia cannot financially benefit from gas transit during the ongoing conflict. Slovakia remains reliant on Russian gas due to the affordability of supplies from Gazprom and the significant revenue it generates from transit fees. Additionally, Prime Minister Fico has expressed opposition to EU sanctions against Russia and has called for the restoration of economic relations with Russia once the war concludes. As the expiration of the current natural gas transit agreement approaches, several EU member states are working to secure continued gas supplies from Russia. This urgency stems from a mix of economic dependencies, energy security concerns, and the complex geopolitical situation resulting from the war in Ukraine. This report examines the EU's efforts to maintain gas deliveries from Russia and explores the challenges and implications of such efforts. The EU has been reliant on Russia for a significant portion of its energy needs for decades, particularly in natural gas and oil. This dependency has shaped geopolitical relations, economic policies, and energy strategies within the EU. The relationship dates back to the Soviet era, when energy exports were an integral part of Soviet foreign policy. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, Russia emerged as the primary energy supplier to Europe, capitalizing on its vast reserves of natural gas and oil. The construction of extensive pipelines, such as the Brotherhood Pipeline and later Nord Stream, facilitated and expanded this dependency into the late 20th and early 21st centuries. By the early 2000s, several EU countries, including Germany, Italy, and the Baltic states, had become heavily dependent on Russian energy. This dependency continued to grow as the EU's energy demand surged alongside economic expansion. As of 2021, Russia supplied around 40% of the EU's natural gas imports and 30% of its oil imports. While electricity dependency is relatively small, with Russia providing only 3 to 5% of the EU's electricity needs, the overall reliance on Russian energy sources has had significant economic and geopolitical implications. The interdependence is further highlighted by the substantial revenue generated from transit fees, particularly through pipelines like Yamal-Europe and the Brotherhood Pipeline, which contribute greatly to the economies of transit countries such as Ukraine and Slovakia. Natural gas has been the cornerstone of EU-Russia energy relations, underpinning both economic and geopolitical ties. In 2021, approximately 40% of the EU's natural gas imports came from Russia, making it the largest single supplier. This dependency is sustained by an extensive network of pipelines that ensure a steady flow of gas from Russian fields to European consumers. Key pipelines such as Nord Stream 1, operational since 2011, connect Russia to Germany, with an annual capacity of 55 billion cubic meters. Nord Stream 2, which was intended to double this capacity, has faced delays and geopolitical challenges, particularly since Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine, leaving its future uncertain. Other crucial pipelines include Yamal-Europe, which transports gas from Russia's Yamal Peninsula through Belarus and Poland to Germany, and the Brotherhood Pipeline, which carries about 55 billion cubic meters annually from Russia through Ukraine to countries like Slovakia, the Czech Republic, and Hungary. The Turk Stream pipeline, which runs through the Black Sea to Turkey and onwards to southeastern Europe, has an annual capacity of 31.5 billion cubic meters and enhances supply diversity for countries such as Bulgaria, Greece, and Italy. The economic and strategic importance of Russian natural gas is evident, as it is competitively priced, making it an attractive energy source for EU member states. Transit fees from pipelines in Europe. Transit fees from pipelines, particularly in regions like Slovakia, contribute significantly to the revenues of transit countries. Slovakia, for example, earns approximately 500 million annually from these fees. However, this dependency also creates challenges and vulnerabilities. Geopolitical tensions, such as the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, increase the risk of supply disruptions. Sanctions and conflicts complicate energy imports, making it essential for the EU to urgently diversify its energy sources to enhance energy security. Before we continue, a quick favor. If you're enjoying the video, please hit the like button. It helps us reach a wider audience. Sharing your thoughts or feedback in the comments makes an even bigger impact. Thanks for watching. Let's get back to it. Oil's role in EU energy. Oil remains a key component of the EU's energy mix, with Russia among the top 3 oil suppliers. As of 2021, Russia provided about 30% of the EU's oil imports. Major transportation routes include the Druzhba pipeline, one of the world's longest oil pipelines, which delivers Russian crude oil to Poland, Germany, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Hungary, with a capacity of around 1.2 million barrels per day. Russian oil is also exported via maritime routes, including the Baltic and North Seas, with major ports like Primorsk, Ust-Luga, and Novorossiysk handling significant shipments. While oil tankers offer flexibility and reduce risks associated with pipeline dependence, they are still vulnerable to geopolitical disruptions. Oil plays a critical role in transportation, industrial activities, and heating within the EU. Russia's substantial market share in the EU oil market provides it with considerable influence over energy prices and supply stability. However, EU sanctions targeting Russian oil have reduced imports and increased costs for alternative sources, weakening Russia's economy, but challenging the EU's energy security. Political instability and conflicts, such as the Russia-Ukraine war, can cause sudden supply interruptions, further impacting the EU's energy security and economic performance. Electricity dependence on Russia. The EU's dependence on Russian electricity is less pronounced but still notable in certain regions. Approximately 3 to 5% of the EU's electricity imports come from Russia, with higher dependencies in countries like Finland and other Eastern European states. Russia contributes to the EU's electricity supply through electricity generated from coal and natural gas-fired power plants. High-voltage direct current links allow for cross-border electricity trading between Russia and the EU, providing flexibility and reliability to the EU's energy grid. Despite this, the EU's strong shift towards renewable energy reduces the relative importance of Russian electricity imports. Geopolitical conflicts, however, pose risks to the stability of these imports, emphasizing the need for robust contingency plans and further diversification to safeguard energy security. Energy transition and diversification. The EU's reliance on Russian energy has exposed it to significant challenges, particularly due to geopolitical instability and the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. These tensions have disrupted energy transit routes, prompting the EU to urgently reassess and diversify its energy sources to enhance energy security and reduce dependence on Russian imports. Efforts to mitigate this dependency focus on increasing renewable energy sources, finding alternative gas suppliers, and expanding liquefied natural gas (LNG) imports. The European Green Deal, launched in 2019, set ambitious targets to increase the share of renewables, such as wind, solar, and hydroelectric power, aiming for carbon neutrality by 2050. The EU has also sought alternative natural gas suppliers, including the United States, Qatar, and Norway, while expanding LNG terminal capacities to improve supply flexibility. Improving energy efficiency through initiatives such as retrofitting buildings, promoting energy-efficient appliances, and optimizing industrial processes is another cornerstone of the EU's strategy to reduce overall energy demand. Energy infrastructure and regional cooperation. Investment in energy infrastructure is critical. Developing and expanding LNG terminals and storage facilities enhances the EU's ability to import gas from diverse sources, reducing reliance on pipeline gas. Improving interconnections between member states enables better energy sharing and resilience against supply disruptions. Promoting regional cooperation among EU member states to harmonize energy policies and share resources strengthens collective energy security and supports less developed energy sectors in member states with higher dependencies on Russian energy, such as Hungary, Slovakia, and Bulgaria. This cooperation accelerates their transition towards alternative energy sources. Strengthening strategic energy reserves provides a buffer against supply disruptions, ensuring energy stability during crises. Encouraging energy efficiency and diversifying energy sources are vital steps in securing a resilient, sustainable energy future for the EU. Innovation through investments in energy. Innovation in energy storage, grid management technologies, and alternative fuels like hydrogen plays a critical role in enhancing the EU's energy resilience and sustainability. The European Union's dependency on Russian energy resources has long been a defining feature of its energy policy and geopolitical strategy. While significant strides have been made in reducing this dependency through diversification, renewable energy adoption, and enhanced energy efficiency, challenges remain. Natural gas and oil continue to play a crucial role in the EU's energy mix, with Russia still a major supplier. However, the ongoing geopolitical tensions, particularly the Russia-Ukraine conflict, have highlighted the urgent need for the EU to accelerate its transition towards a more resilient and sustainable energy framework. Continued commitment to diversification, infrastructure investment, and regional cooperation will be essential in securing the EU's long-term energy independence and security. Historical context: gas disputes and dependency. The gas disputes in January 2006 and 2009 between Russia and Ukraine, Russia's primary transit country, led to significant gas supply interruptions to the EU. These disputes revealed the vulnerability of the EU's energy supply chain, prompting the EU to consider measures to diversify its energy sources. One such measure was the construction of the Nord Stream pipelines, particularly Nord Stream 2, which aimed to increase direct gas flows from Russia to Germany, bypassing Ukraine. While intended to enhance supply security and reduce transit costs, Nord Stream 2 faced criticism for potentially deepening EU dependency on Russian gas and reducing transit fees to Ukraine, further straining regional relations. EU sanctions and political tensions following Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014 and the onset of the Russia-Ukraine conflict in 2022, the EU imposed a series of sanctions on Russia. These sanctions targeted key sectors, including energy, limiting investments in new Russian energy projects and restricting technology transfers critical for energy infrastructure development. Impact of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The Russia-Ukraine conflict severely disrupted gas transit routes as Ukraine sought to leverage its position for better terms and to reduce Russia's revenue from transit fees. Ukraine's resistance to certain transit agreements further complicated the EU's energy security. In response to the conflict, the EU undertook a comprehensive reassessment of its energy policies, with a focus on reducing dependency on Russian energy. This shift led to accelerated initiatives aimed at diversifying energy sources, enhancing energy efficiency, and investing in renewable energy. Renewable energy initiatives. The EU has significantly ramped up investments in renewable energy sources such as wind, solar, and hydroelectric power. The European Green Deal, launched in 2019, set ambitious targets for increasing the share of renewables in the energy mix, aiming for carbon neutrality by 2050. Alternative gas suppliers and LNG imports. To mitigate reliance on Russian gas, the EU has sought alternative suppliers, including the United States, Qatar, and Norway. The expansion of liquefied natural gas, LNG terminals across Europe has facilitated increased LNG imports, providing more flexibility and reducing dependency on pipeline gas. Improving energy efficiency has been a cornerstone of the EU's strategy to reduce overall energy demand. Initiatives such as retrofitting buildings, promoting energy-efficient appliances, and optimizing industrial processes have significantly contributed to lowering energy consumption across the EU. As of October 2023, the EU's dependency on Russian energy has decreased but remains significant. Approximately 25% of the EU's natural gas imports still come from Russia, down from 40% in 2012. Russia now accounts for around 20% of the EU's oil imports, reduced from 30%. However, Russia supplies less than 5% of the EU's electricity needs. Despite this progress, certain member states, particularly in Central and Eastern Europe, still maintain higher levels of dependency on Russian energy. Countries like Hungary, Slovakia, and Bulgaria continue to rely heavily on Russian gas due to infrastructural and economic factors. The reliance on Russian gas presents a dual-edged sword for EU countries. While it ensures an energy supply, it also exposes them to vulnerabilities related to geopolitical tensions and potential supply disruptions. The ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine has intensified these concerns, as the transit of gas through Ukrainian pipelines has become a focal point of contention. EU nations are motivated to secure uninterrupted gas flows to prevent energy shortages and economic fallout, especially during peak winter months when demand is at its highest. The geopolitical landscape significantly influences the EU's pursuit of continued gas supplies from Russia. The ongoing war in Ukraine complicates negotiations, with Ukrainian authorities insisting that Russia should not financially benefit from gas transit during the conflict. This stance creates challenges for EU countries as they try to broker deals that satisfy both Moscow's supply capabilities and Kyiv's conditions. Such negotiations are further complicated by differing national interests within the EU. Leaders like Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico have taken proactive steps by engaging directly with Putin to negotiate terms that could sustain gas deliveries beyond January 1st. However, these actions have met with criticism from other EU members, highlighting divisions within the bloc over how to handle Russia and energy policy. Diversification and the road ahead. The EU has been striving to diversify its energy sources to reduce dependency on Russian gas. Initiatives to increase renewable energy production, invest in alternative suppliers, and enhance energy efficiency are already underway. However, this transition is neither swift nor simple, given the existing infrastructural dependencies and the immediate need to secure energy supplies in the short term. For many EU member states, maintaining a stable flow of Russian gas remains a pragmatic necessity, even as they work toward longer-term energy solutions. That's all for this video. We appreciate you joining us today. If our content resonated with you or sparked inspiration, please consider supporting us by liking this video and subscribing to stay connected with our community. Your support means a lot to us. You can also watch another video from our channel, which is now on the screen.